Hi everyone, this is Counseling 4000, Chapter 11, Addressing and Disarming Anger. People who become angry express it in ways we might find unpleasant. See the anger as a clue to other underlying issues. Using this anger to help understand the other person is better than reacting to it defensively or personally. So you have to take it from a professional point of view. If your client is angry, you don't want to be angry back at them, right? You want to be the calm in the middle of everything so that you can bring everything into order if possible. It's not about you, the case manager. It is about the frustration and concerns of their own lives. If you are an effective, reflective listener, you'll hear these underlying causes and feelings, and you will respond in a manner that disarms rather than provokes the anger. So here are some common reasons for anger. The client is angry about something the agency has done. The client is angry about something you have said or done. The client is fearful. The client is exhausted. The client is overwhelmed. The client is confused, and the client feels a need for attention. So these are all major reasons why a client might become upset about something or geared towards you, the case manager, or the organization itself. Why disarming anger is important. You cannot be effective in your work if your client is angry. You have to eliminate an obstacle to true understanding. Angry people cannot truly hear each other. They're too angry. Have you ever heard of people saying, "You're so angry, you're yelling right now, you're not hearing what I'm saying"? That's what they're saying. Show clients you respect their message. Their concerns are important even when expression is not helpful. So you have to find out what the underlying problem is and say, I hear you about that problem and I can understand why you're frustrated. Enables you to understand the problem. When the client is heard and understood, collaboration begins. So now that you can see how frustrated they are, you acknowledge it, and then together you can work on maybe finding a solution. It allows you to practice empathy. You listen and you understood. You understand why they're upset. Focus work on solving the problem. Focuses on solving the issues and the problems and not who is to blame. Okay, so you're angry. I see that. Let's see how we can fix this, right? And then you're working together to try to solve this problem. You want to avoid the number one mistake, which is to take anger personally. Okay, it's not really about you at all. It's really about the frustrations as we talked about in the previous slides. And then there is an example in the book on page 228 where you can role play if you want. Technically, we would do this in class if we had an actual class. There are 4-step process to anger management, according to David Burns in 1980 for Feeling Good. All right, number 1 is be appreciative. I appreciate you coming to me with this. It is helpful to know how you're feeling about this, and thank you for bringing this up. Those are ways that you can respond to a person who's angry, to bring it down, to de-escalate. 2 is ask for more information. Can you tell me when this happened? I guess I'm not sure when this happened. Can you help me out? Or how often does this happen? 3rd is find something which you agree. You can say something like, I think we have probably done this in the past. I can see where you would look at it that way. There probably was a lapse the day you were referring to. So again, kind of letting them know and acknowledge that maybe there was something amiss, something that did happen. It was weird. It was a freak of nature accident or something like that, so that they understand what's going on. And then 4, begin to focus on the solution. So you want to involve collaboration whenever possible. So you might ask them a question like, how would you resolve this if you were in control of everything, right? And then from there you can say like, let me see if I can pass it on to upper management or in the next staff meeting and see if we can resolve this so that it doesn't happen to other people because it clearly has affected you. The client owns the problem because they're able to talk about it. Listen to the client's point of view. Do you want to make changes or do you want to leave things as they are? So this allows them to vent, maybe because that's all they want to do is vent. They understand that you can't really change some of the policies that are really frustrating. And if they are and they want to and they're capable of, maybe then they can, work with you and then you can talk to upper management and then, institute some changes there or at least offer suggestions. Here are some responses that you can do, which is, I can see where you thought that. I think from now on, I'd like to write you ahead of time. So again, to let them know like what's going on, maybe there's an institutional change or some things to let them know. Or you can say, I can see where you thought that. Right now, we are really short staffed. So writing to you ahead of time isn't really an option, but I'm glad you brought this up. In the future, we will take another look at it. Again, this is something that you can role play. There's a role play scene in the book, which is really helpful, 230 and 231. What you do not want to do. Avoid becoming defensive. Okay? If you're on the defense, you're not really listening because you're trying to defend yourself, protect yourself in a way when you're talking about an argument, as opposed to understanding what your client is coming from, what their feelings are. And remember that, again, the key thing is to not take it personally. So again, listen to them, listen, to everything that they have to say, and then from there you can respond. Avoid sounding sarcastic or facetious. Facetious basically means kind of like making fun of things, thinking it's a joke, okay? So avoid sounding sarcastic. Believe it or not, some countries don't understand sarcasm. So when you say something, like blah, 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 they actually think that you're really annoyed or whatever, and then they can take that personally. Avoid coming across as a superior. So don't say, well, I'm the one in control and you are just some case client and stuff like that. So don't talk to me about these things. Again, that's not a really good way to de-escalate anger. And of course, avoid grilling the client, kind of like making it feel as though it's their fault in one way or another, the way that you talk to them or ask them questions. Safety in the workplace. Your agency should have policies and procedures related to how to handle situations that could become dangerous. So who do you call is something that you need to find out. Where do you conduct interviews where others are nearby? How is the furniture positioned in your office and interview rooms to prevent someone from blocking the door and preventing you from being able to leave? So these are things that you should be aware of when you start working at the place. And you can ask your other coworkers, how do you seat yourself in the office when you're seeing a client or a caseworker or a case client and stuff like that. If a person has been assaultive or combative in the past, what is the agency's policy related to how that person is served in the future? So maybe if this person has kind of violent tendencies, but you're still supposed to help them, maybe we should do the meeting where there's a big open window so people can see through, but they can't hear what's going on. Or maybe it's a conference room, a big conference room where you have some space between you two so that, if something happens, everything will be okay, or we can call for help immediately. Staff training plays a considerable role in preventing dangerous situations and harmful outcomes. Attend any training that is offered, and if none are offered, ask that they be developed. So let's say that there is some safety issues, and then you want to bring that up to your staff and say, hey, is there training for interns? Is there training for the newbies? Because I know that there are certain clients who are violent or potentially violent, and I would like to know how to protect myself and others as well if this is going to happen. And that's something that if you advocate for yourself, most likely your bosses or superiors can't really say no to, because it is the safety of their employees. They do not want one of their employees to get hurt, because then that's workers' comp. The importance of staff behavior. The way in which staff reacts to a person who appears angry and out of control often plays a role in whether the situation escalates or diffuses. So basically what that's saying is how the people around you treat clients will let you know whether or not someone's going to escalate the problem or make it worse, or not make it worse, because they all understand how to talk to clients and sensitive, understand that they can know how to bring that person down to a calmer position, so that even when they're complaining about certain things, they're not going to necessarily be violent, right, and stuff like that. Remain matter of fact, so that means very serious, and take everything serious. Don't take it as a joke or anything like that. Practice empathetic reflective listening. So when a client comes in and yells, you can say, I can see you're really frustrated right now, and I can see why you would be frustrated because of that event. Let me see if I can help you with this. Do you mind if I ask someone who can better help you with this to talk to you more about this, or something like that? And of course, remain calm. There are some people who are very defensive, and then of course that's going to feed on to the client potentially, and then there might be some violence that happens. Usually there's not a lot of violence that does happen within any of these places. Sometimes there are people with disabilities who might not be able to control certain urges or impulses. That's a different situation. But usually when someone is upset or something like that, there's not going to be that much violence or any violence at all. There might be a lot of yelling and screaming, but there's really not a lot of violence. I'm not saying it always is like that though, but majority of the times. If you or your clients are in danger, secure the safety of everyone. And again, that goes along with the training for people. So hopefully you will get that so you'll understand the safety and your coworkers understand as well. Situation that escalate because workers fuel them. So be careful that your coworkers are not people who don't understand how to communicate and then actually make the situation even worse. Inflaming the client's anger by becoming loud, agitated, or angry themselves can rapidly spiral out of control. So if one person yells, like let's say the client, and then the people who work there start yelling back at them, then the other people, the clients are going to yell back again, and then it's not really going to get any better, right? It's going to be two people yelling at each other, and then there could be some physicality that could endanger someone at the workplace. And of course, remaining calm and moving deliberately to prevent a dangerous situation from worsening is the responsibility of the professional. Again, that means you and the people who work there. So there should be safety training so that we all learn how to de-escalate a situation with a case.